Good morning. It's the Call Flow Radio Show, and you're on the air.
It is that time, Call Flow Radio Show. We're on until 1 o'clock taking phone calls. Our number is 434-394-0924. Noah Massarge and myself.
How's it going? John, did you say 1 o'clock we'll be here?
I'm going to be here till 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
thought
You're right.
like you meant on the Call Flow show.
No,
We're going to be here till 1.
No, I was thinking about when I'm normally on air.
Oh, boy. I was preparing
That
myself.
was a faux pas.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
It was a flub on my part.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here till 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm here till 1.
I'm here till 6.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like it. Actually, I'm here later than 1, but you won't know it. You won't hear my voice.
unless if well, yeah.
Some mayhem of some
Yeah.
type happens. But anyway, so let's go to the phones. Take our first caller this morning. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, John.
Hey, Henry.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm okay, Henry. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Well, good.
Has Noah and his pain in the neck.
It still hurts, Henry, but, it's getting better by the day.
All right.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
that's right.
I've been praying about it. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I see where the Congress has just ratified a mousetrap bill.
Okay.
The mousetrap bill has been ratified.
Ratified. I get it. That was a cheesy one.
Yeah.
Dude.
I like that one.
Well, there was a guy was going to open up a new blacksmith shop, and he had to order an anvil.
Right.
And those things are heavy because it's pure steel. They weigh 200 or 300 pounds. So this fella ordered it, and it came in, and he the place he ordered it from delivered it, but he had to cross a lake to get it. So he took his rowboat. And he went across, and he got this anvil and bringing it home, and the boat sank. And he came up, and there were some people scattered along the banks. And he came up, and he yelled, help me. And he sank again, and he came back up, and he said, please, somebody help me. He went back down. He came up the third time. He said, please, somebody help me. If you don't, I'm going to have to let this anvil go. Yeah, you got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
I see where there's a pharmacy and two twins own and operate the pharmacy, and they're pharmacists themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and their names are Phil and Refill. Identical twins.
Right.
Yeah.
Monique and Unique.
Yeah, right. You sneak up on them.
Right.
Yeah, you have to sneak up on them. God's got a funny way of showing up when you need a boost. And a few years ago, Joyce Christie and I was in the Lowe's here in Lynchburg, and I went to pay for an item, and I wrote a check. When this elderly cashier looked at my check, she said, "Oh, I've been listening to you on WFLO all my life." She was at least 20 years older than I was, but I mean, all of her life she's been.
Good portion of it, anyway.
Yeah, but I mean,
that is funny
we say
though.
Things sometimes.
Oh yeah.
About 2012, I believe it was. Got a call from David Patton of Dillman, who said he had a friend from North Carolina. Name was Frank Cowan. And Frank had all 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit. And Frank and wife had moved to the Toga area out in Buckingham.
Mm-hmm.
And he said Frank wanted to meet me. So he brought him over, and it came in. Frank sat on the sofa, and the first thing he said, he pointed to my leg and my chest. He says, "You have a clot from your heart down your leg, but the Lord has run another artery, and that's what your body is using." My right leg continued to swell, and Frank then said, "You also have aphids." And I said, "Yes, for 10 or 15 years. And so I went to see Dr. Brown, and on the way, a buzzard flew off the road like a bullet. And my voice said, I didn't really say it, but my voice said, "The spirit of death departing." And anyway, I got an allergy shot from Dr. Brown, and about a month later, Dr. Steve Stone saw me, listened to my heart, and he said, "Hey, that's beautiful. No AIDS, no aphids."
Mm-hmm.
Then about another month, Dr. Wade, my infectious doctor in Lynchburg, he listened to my heart, and he also said, "No aphids." So God is good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I've been blessed at seeing a few things happen. Back in the day, I would do the Lord's Prayer just before 5.
Right.
Around 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, 3.5 minutes to 5. Play the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
Well, around 1990, Joyce would get an obscene phone call around 5:15, and I asked the Lord to show me who it was, and I suddenly saw him in my spirit, and it was an orderly from the hospital. This has been years ago.
Right.
So I asked God to verify it. That same day, after visiting some patients for a couple of hours, I took the elevator to the ground floor. When the door opened, there was that orderly. And he said, "How's Joyce and Christy?" And I felt a great surge well up in my chest. All I said was, "Fine." I said, "Lord, I can't tell police to arrest this guy because the Lord showed me it was him." So I said, "Lord, you'll have to handle this." 2 days later, I was walking down the hallway at the hospital, and a nurse stepped in beside me as we're walking, and she says, "Did you hear what happened up here a couple of days ago?" I said, "No." She said the nurse was walking down the hall around a little after 5 o'clock in the morning, and she went by an empty room. The door was closed, but she heard a voice inside. So she cracked the door, and there was that orderly, and he was speaking obscene stuff on the phone to somebody. So he was arrested, and he was fired. So, see, God has a way.
Oh, yeah.
When we don't.
Yeah, well, sometimes they hang themselves.
Yeah. 1980, I believe it was. I was asked to speak at an early breakfast at Pisgah Baptist Church at Rice. Mm-hmm. And I spoke for about 30 minutes. And then Joan DiBiase of the Pisgah Baptist Church stood up. She says, I've never done anything like this before in my life, but I work at Longwood. I work in the dining hall, and sometimes the girls have things they want to share with us because their family may be 1,000 miles away.
Right.
And she said a while back, one of the students came to me, and excuse me,
that's okay. I'm
kind of built upside down there, and instead of my feet running and my nose smelling, it's the other way around. but anyway, the girl told her that she'd been having an affair with a guy who has been diagnosed with AIDS, and the girl was terrified. So Joan told her to go see the doctor and get tested. She did, but then the doctor came back and said it'd be 30 days to be sure.
Right.
And as she later told Joan, she couldn't wait that long, so she decided to kill herself. So she went to a safe place, which in her mind was a safe place, was at the Prince Edward Academy, and she parked in the parking lot while she was trying to figure out the best way to take her life. And she told Joan, suddenly a strange man knocked on the driver's window, and she let the window down, and the guy said, aren't you praying for good news? And the girl nodded her head yes. And the man told her that good news is on the way, and when you get it, thank the Lord for what he's done for you. And the girl told Joan, said after the guy said that, he turned and walked away. And I don't know who he was, she says.
Right.
Anyway, she said that she was in Baldwin's, the girl's telling Joan later. She was in Baldwin's department store, and she saw the guy. And she asked a clerk, who's that man over there wearing that cowboy hat? And Joan said, Henry, it was you. Do you remember that? I said, oh, yeah. So I told her that I had come to pick up Christy. And I looked at my watch, and I said, Lord, why am I here 30 minutes early? And then my own voice said to me, I have to speak to someone. But I looked around, and there was nobody in sight anywhere. Mm-hmm. But a couple of minutes later, a little car pulled up and parked about 50 feet away. So I said, I don't know why I'm going to speak to this young girl, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to say. But I said, Lord, you've always given me the right word for whatever situation. So I knocked on the car window, and she let it down, and I asked her, aren't you praying for good news? And she said, yes. And anyway, the girl told Joan that she got the good news. She was all clear. No AIDS or anything else.
Right.
So Joan reported that at the prayer breakfast meeting. So you never know, you know.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Everybody's got gifts.
That's true, too.
And everybody's is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yep. And your gift is different from mine, because my gift is not really mine. I mean, he allows me to use it.
Right.
Dr. Harold Nace of Farmville, was called back into service during the Iraq War. And he was gone a couple of years. On the way to our house, I had to drive by Dr. Nace's house. So I was going home one day, and I saw Dr. Nays crossing the yard towards the front door of their house. So a little later that afternoon, I called to welcome him home. But his wife told me he was still in Iraq. So as I prayed about that, it went through me that he'd be home on the third day. But he was not. And then I asked the Lord, what does the third day mean? And he said, open the book. And I did, and it opened to Luke 6th chapter, 1st verse, which reads, on the second Sabbath after the first. That's 3 weeks, 21 days, 3 Sabbath days, 21 days. So I called his wife and told her. And on the 21st day, as I drove past their house, there again he was crossing the lawn to the front door, and running out to greet him was his wife, for she had believed and had been waiting for him. So that was truly a good news thing.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Baldwin's department store. I haven't thought about Baldwin's in a long time. I remember going to Baldwin's.
Yeah, and they were the news sponsor for many years.
Okay.
At 7:45 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that store.
Where was that located at?
Well, it's one of the green front things now. Up just down from where the bank used to be on the corner, Main and High Street.
You bring
on the eastern side of Main Street.
You're bringing back memories there, Henry.
Yeah. I was going to Heritage Baptist Church one Sunday morning, as usual, and I was doing my daily prayer and Bible study, and I looked at John chapter 1, verse 40, which says, one of the two which heard John speak was Andrew. But the other one was never mentioned anywhere again. So I said, Lord, what happened to that unnamed disciple? Did he fall? When I said that, a square box of wax paper on the counter at the house started turning over and over and kept on turning over till it crashed over on the floor. And this said to me, he fell. After that, I went to church, and I walked past the choir room. Several singers and musicians were in there, and I told them what happened at home. And when I told them what happened and said, did he fall? When I said that, an auto harp case came crashing to the floor, and again, he fell. That's why he's never mentioned again. Cam Tennell, who was in the room, the music room at the time, and she pointed to the auto harp on the floor, and she said, that too is an instrument. So I thank her. She was really saying that, I was an instrument, and so was the auto harp. But that's a very unique. Mm-hmm. And I found that when you really need a boost, that's when he steps in.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He's never too late.
No.
On Tuesday, May the 25th, 1999, Mildred Atkins called me. I called around 4:30 in the morning. I was getting ready to go on live, and she could barely speak. Her voice was extremely raspy.
Right.
She said she had an abscess in her throat 2 years ago, and the surgeon in Richmond removed it. But she said it's back again, and I have an appointment in Richmond at 10 o'clock this morning. So we prayed about it, and around 8 o'clock she left to go to the doctor in Richmond. Around 3 that afternoon, she called and said that about an hour after we prayed, she felt heat well up in her throat. And when the doctor checked her throat was perfect. So was her voice. She said the doctor was amazed because he was a doctor that had checked her 2 years prior to that. So, you never know what the Lord might do for you.
That's true. Well, Henry, did you have anything else you wanted to wrap up with before we have to go?
Yeah, talking about Mildred Atkins, 1999. She called around 25 after 5, and I played a long song. She told me she'd hurt her back and couldn't get out of bed. And she said a little voice said to her, call Brother Henry.
Right.
She did. We prayed, and immediately God healed her back. She called back about 10:30 and said she'd been working in her garden all morning, and her back felt great.
Right.
In the past, Mildred had received several healing experiences, some of which we've talked about here. Mm-hmm. But anyway, if anybody wants to talk with me or have prayer with me or whatever, my number is 414-0096. And it's a 434 area, so.
Okay.
Thank you all, Noah and Brother John. Thank you so much.
Well, Henry, you have a good day, and I hope you get some phone calls.
Okay, and I've had some.
Oh, good.
So I hope to talk to you Thursday.
I hope so. You take care.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right, that was Henry Fulcher.
John, I have a bone to pick with Henry. How come he called me Noah, but he called you Brother John? I want to be called Brother Noah. It's like, whoa.
Maybe you have to earn it.
I'll have to call him up about it.
I thought he referred to both of us as that.
No, he was like Noah and Brother John.
Well, that maybe just because he has known me longer.
Maybe
he knew me when I was a wee little lad.
Yeah. And me and Henry actually never have met. Which is
haven't.
Interesting.
All right, we take another call here before we do anything at the bottom of the hour real quick. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Could I put a birthday on for today?
We haven't gotten to it yet, but go ahead.
It's Annette Mae Brown of Dearborn.
What was the first name again?
Anna, A-N-I-E.
Okay. And it's for today?
For today.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. You have a best day.
You too. Bye. All right. Well, that's leading to where we're going here, so that's an early one, but we'll have the rest of them here in just a bit. We're going to do the weather first, and then we'll do the birthdays right after that. And so for today, it looks like mostly sunny skies, a high near 80 tonight, mostly clear with a low around 57. Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high near 84. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 62. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high near 90. And Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 66. Humidity right now is 80%. Winds are calm. Barometer is 29.95. Overcast skies right now. 64 here at WFLO, AM 870 Farmville. The birthday calendar is brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors, located at 1907 East 3rd Street, Farmville.
Creative Electrical Contractors specializes in commercial and industrial projects and offers quality work at competitive prices. CEC is a licensed Class A contractor in Virginia and North Carolina. Creative Electrical Contractors has been in business for 25 years, still committed to the values that were established when the company opened in 1998. Integrity, quality workmanship, and timely delivery. CEC, located at 1907 East 3rd Street, Farmville. You can contact CEC at 434-392-3802 or at creative-electrical.com.
And the music now means it's time to do the birthdays or possible anniversaries as well. And doing that will be Noah Massage. Take it away, Noah. Brother Noah.
Brother Noah. Thank you, John. Thank you, Brother John.
You got it.
So today is June 11th. We're in 2024. It's the 6th month of the year. Is that right, John?
I believe so.
And the
yes.
11th day.
And the
of
light
this month.
scattered clouds at 3,000 feet.
Exactly.
Right.
And so we're going to hop into the birthdays and anniversaries now, starting off with Bob Horn. We also have Ben Jernigan Jr., and I wish I was a junior, honestly. I was always jealous of my oldest brother because he was named after my dad. He has that cool JR at the end of his name, and I'm like, how do you just
How do you do
Anyway.
that? Well, you get born after your
it's
dad.
It's quite great.
Yeah.
And then also we have Bright Thomas. That's the actual name, Bright. First name Bright.
How do they
last
spell
name,
it?
Like Bright.
Oh, yeah, well, there's two ways to spell bright, right?
Yeah, it's Bright.
Oh, not Brite. Okay, gotcha.
And we also have Annie Lee Brown as well.
That was phoned in, and you've repeated it. So is that everybody?
That's John. I named everybody. I hope everybody has the greatest birthday. I mean, like, just go all out, celebrate, get some coffee. Like, go buy yourself an expensive coffee. You know, that is the way to celebrate a birthday. You know, just take time for yourself, relax, make something you like. Light a candle. I mean, John, you know what to do, man. Come on, like John knows what I'm talking about. He's done this before many times.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And if you would like to add, correct, or I don't know what you might want to do, but you can give us a call, 434-394-0924. Otherwise, send the names, birthdays and or anniversaries to birthdays at WFLO.net. The birthday calendar brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors. If it's not right, they will make it right. Call 434-392-2802. I ought to read it the way it's actually typed here. If it is not right, we will make it right. Number again, 434-392-2802. And so now we are back with our lines open. If you'd like to give us a call. In the meantime, I guess we can do some of the things that might lead to conversation.
Well, John,
hence why I do it.
I have something that's going to lead to conversation
More
right now.
important than the duel between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton.
I mean,
and the reason is I
yeah.
want to bring this up is because it's from your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Did you know this?
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. So this is why I want to bring it up because I actually have legitimate question.
Okay.
I was going to ask.
Okay.
So, all right. So 1804. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it. But I'm not kidding. I actually have a question.
Wow. What happened this morning?
1804 is when this duel between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton happened. Outraged over disparaging remarks that Alexander Hamilton had allegedly made at a dinner party, Aaron Burr challenged his longtime rival. So it sounds like they were always at odds anyway, to a duel. And on this day in 1804, he fatally shot Hamilton in, is it Weehawken, New Jersey? Mm-hmm. Now, here's my question. Is that like...
That's just the way we settle things there in Jersey.
Well, I wasn't going to ask that.
Okay.
I figured that's how that goes. But what I was going to ask, is that a recognized site that people visit? Is it like a state park kind of thing?
I'm sure. I don't know offhand, John. But
that's why I was asking.
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
I thought maybe you were aware of such a thing.
Honestly, like, I mean, the amount of duels that have happened in Jersey and the amount of people that have died at duels, I mean, like, there should be a sign up at every corner.
Well, do you know where Weehawken is at?
I'm unfamiliar. My family we're from Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay,
so
I've heard of Trenton.
Yeah,
I've heard of that.
I'm not exactly sure where that area is.
Okay,
but,
that's all right. That was my legitimate question.
Okay.
So I know you didn't believe me.
No, I did not.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, I need to ask Noah about that.
Well, that's nice, John.
To see if you ever went, or anything like that.
I never went, John. But like, look, I know you love duels. This is actually kind of a great history thing because it's
That's why I bring them up sometimes.
John, it has the New Jersey-ness of my being and also the dueliness of your, like, loving Westerns. Like, you love Westerns.
Well,
and
technically, this is
Westerns.
before the Western.
Yeah, well, true.
Era.
But still, dueling is a very Western activity. It's like a hobby, actually.
Yes, dude. Is that 10 paces? You're on.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. No, that was great. That was great, John.
Yeah, I know you think I just randomly read these for the heck of it.
No.
Sometimes I do.
What would make you think that?
I don't know.
John.
I don't know, but I'm just saying sometimes they do lead to conversation.
I agree, John. I agree, but I gotta.
If they're interesting,
John. Can I ask you something? This is going to lead directly to a conversation.
Okay.
Do you think I give good advice about birthdays when I'm like, go celebrate? How do you celebrate your birthday? Because the only reason why I
by
ask,
coming to work and doing the same stuff I normally do.
The only reason why I ask is because when I'm like, buy yourself something nice. You make a face that I wish I could just take a picture, like a snapshot of, and just show you. But it's I don't know. It's just like, so you celebrate your birthday by not celebrating your birthday.
I mean, I leave that up to other people if they want to bad enough. If my family wants to have a little get together or something, then that's what we do. But I don't go out of my way to celebrate it.
Okay.
Other than go, another year. Here we are.
Year. You don't do anything to commemorate that year that has
I
passed?
Check to see if I have to redo my driver's license or something like that.
Yeah.
Renew it. Whatever.
Driver's license.
Yeah, whatever else falls under that
I
category.
can't wait till I have to renew my driver's license because the picture I have right now is not good. Not good, John. It's no good.
Noah no good?
No, it's just Noah no good.
Oh.
That's what I said. I know. I just wanted to say. I just wanted to tell you now, and then say the same thing that you said. I'll tell you what though. This is weird. I was like looking at my stuff. I just have a pile of stuff. No. I was looking at like my old driver's permit that was just like out randomly. I don't know if it was like we cleaned out a desk drawer and it was in there, but I was like looking at it, and then I pulled out my driver's license like photo, and like. For some reason, the permit photo, like for my driver's permit, looks nicer than my driver's license. The driver's license photo looks like I'm nervous, like I'm not going to pass the thing. I'm like sweating in the driver's license photo, and I'm just like, you could tell I haven't like eaten that day. And the permit photo, I look calm and relaxed and like cool and collective, John. Like,
you were younger too.
Yeah, well, like a year. I mean, it wasn't even that long.
Yeah, but a lot can happen in a year.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
From what I understand, you were jaded after that year. So, with all that being said, 1914.
Oh no, John!
Do you know who George Herman is? I'm going to ask this question. George Herman.
George Herman. I think that's an uncle of mine.
Then you're related to Babe Ruth.
Oh my goodness, John!
He on this day in 1914, he played in his first Major League Baseball game for
the National Baseball League, the
Boston Red Sox,
the NBL.
Yeah.
That's right. John, I don't follow baseball for the sole reason that it's one of the most like it's so long. It's very time consuming, and then also like nothing happens for most of it. Like at least with football, like of course, yes, there's a lot of stopping because like plays over,
the clock,
and then like people are repositioning and stuff. But like with baseball, it's a gigantic field, and everybody's just like standing. The pitcher is pitching. The hitter is hitting, but like other than that, it's just like for the most part, it's just like a lot of standing, and then some running, and then a lot more standing. It's just like such a it's so exhausting, that sport, baseball. Like I mean I get it, people are into it, and like I'm into things that other people aren't, but I just like it's one of those sports that I don't
stamp
know.
Collecting might not really be everybody's bag.
I just don't know how anybody could be into it.
Well, like you said, though, somebody could look at what.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm coming from my opinion. Though.
Yeah.
Like I look at that sport, I'm like, wow, I can't do it. The only reason why I would go to a baseball game is to find that hot dog vendor that's like going up in the stands.
Get your Red Hotch. Get your Red Hotch.
And I'd be like, yo, right here, man. And then I would want him to like throw the dog to me.
Right in the mouth.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
1798.
What were you reading, John? No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I had 19 something on the brain, probably because I'm not going in the right order. 1798, the U.S. Marine Corps, originally established in 1775, was formally reestablished on this date, 1798. I just thought that'd be an interesting one to do for the Marines any Marine that maybe Semper Fi, by the way. And let's see. I did see something. Did you ever see the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
Or are you even aware of it?
John, give me a little credit.
I'm just asking.
Give me a little credit first.
Just ask.
I want you to take a time out. Okay. I want you to take a time out. Give me a little credit, okay?
I let you talk endlessly yesterday about that weird trip, so don't give me any business about it.
I'm giving John the business. Sorry. That's funny. I did start watching it, and I never finished it.
It's okay.
But I know Mel Gibson.
Personally?
No.
Oh.
I know of him.
Yeah.
I know his movies. I know his body of work for the most part. I saw Hacksaw Ridge. That was Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And, Braveheart was just one of those movies that, I could just not finish. So I never ended up finishing it. That's the end of the story.
I'm glad I waited for that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway.
It's one of those slow burns that
one of the characters in the movie, I don't know how far you actually got, but
I think Robert credits.
Robert the Bruce is a character in the movie that was an actual real person, just as William Wallace is the character that Mel Gibson plays. Now, in the movie, and the reason I'm bringing this up is sort of a big deal in Scotland. Robert the Bruce is considered a big hero in Scotland. But if you watch the movie, I mean, they like William Wallace too, don't get me wrong, but William Wallace in the movie, Mel Gibson's character, is portrayed as the real hero. Robert the Bruce is kind of begrudgingly becomes the hero after William Wallace, in the sense that they show Robert the Bruce, I don't want to give anything away since you haven't seen it all, but I don't think you'll ever go back and revisit it. He betrays him in the film. And so a lot of people, I remember reading this after I'd ever had seen the movie. Unless you know the true story of what actually happened, if you don't, get up on your history, you don't know what Hollywood, you can guess. That Hollywood's not portraying it exactly the way it was, and you'd usually guess right. Well, both William Wallace and Robert the Bruce, I guess you could say, were heroes of Scotland, but let's just say some people of Scotland didn't appreciate the way he was portrayed in that movie. And that's the only reason I'm bringing it up, because Robert the Bruce he was King of Scotland, born on this day, July 11th, The date was 1274. Died at the age of 54 in 1329, but he was born on this day, July 11th, 1274. Those are the things that interest me. Like if you watch a movie or something and you get really into it, but you don't really, you're aware that it's sort of based on real events, and
you don't know how much of it is true.
Right, until
how much
later.
Hollywood improvised
until later, and then when you discover, I do anyway, immediately have questions about why was that done? Why did they change this? Other than just the old, well, it makes for better. The movie you brought up, Hacksaw Ridge, from what I understand, Mel Gibson
toned it down. The actual
chose not to put one scene in that was it
was too unbelievable.
Right, it's exactly what was, and I find stuff like that interesting. It's like, okay, so and well, the other thing about Braveheart is William Wallace was much younger, the actual person, than what Mel Gibson was. But Mel Gibson didn't really want to play the part. But the only way the movie would get greenlit was if he starred in it. So if he wanted a director, role, he had to also take on the lead role. So sometimes that's why things happen, obviously. But whether it's Billy the Kid or the Young Guns films, stuff like that. There was I remember that when that movie had come out, I knew a little bit about Billy the Kid, but not everything. And so what was funny was one of the actors, his character dies in the first one, but the character actually lived longer than what they showed in that film. So when they went to do the sequel,
He came back.
he didn't know. They didn't know because he died. But he goes, "See, I'm supposed to be in it." Even the actor was like, "Oh, see, I told you, Charlie Bowdry doesn't die until this part," and blah blah blah. I just think that was funny. So they killed off Kiefer Sutherland's character, who actually didn't die in that whole thing. But anyway, stuff like, I don't know, movie making stuff and why they choose to not put in and or ignore or whatever the case may be, or change it up. I always find that stuff interesting. And I know why. A lot of it's cooler to do it that way, and is what they're basically saying. It's more dramatic if we do it like this. Whereas it's like, yeah, but these things happen, and they were just as dramatic in the story, and you chose to not even put that in. Yeah. I don't know. I always find that. So, are you more of like one of these people that do you do much reading?
I dabble. It depends on the book and whether if I like really am into it, because I've had books where I like could not start it, and then there's like books where I can't put it down. Like, so
I didn't know if you were one of these people that get offended when they make a film based off of a book, and they don't follow the book.
It's a totally different, kind of like format, and like it, changes need to be made.
So you're more like I am. Yeah. I don't, but I'm not this book enthusiast type that just. But I understand why they're like that.
Yeah. They feel like their beloved thing is being just destroyed.
Yeah, well, I get it. With the comic book films that have taken off in recent years, if you know anything about the actual characters and then you see how they're done on the film, it's like, that's not the way it is. What is that? That's not. Anyway,
did you watch Marvel Endgame in theater? Like that big one?
Was that the very last one?
I think it was.
Yeah, I saw it.
John.
I wasn't too.
Oh no, John.
Well, let's just say the Hulk might as well have just not even been in it. They reduced his character to
nothing.
Yeah, to make way for what we have now, and I'm not going to go into all that. Famous birthdays. We did the local celebrities. How about some? And I want to get your opinion on this name here.
We should let the people know they can call in too with any questions.
Well, they know that, but go ahead.
434-394-0924 is the number. Again, that is 434-394-0924 with questions, concerns, topics. If you have an idea for a film that you want to pitch, you can pitch it to us. We're kind of like film buffs. John a little bit more than me. I just enjoy movies, but sometimes
I just like what I like.
That's right. He's got a very specific palate to that.
Yeah, according to Noah, I just like westerns.
Oh, John, that's
actor
not true.
Hugh Laurie turned 65. Did you ever watch that show he did?
Which one?
House, I think.
Was it House?
Where he was the doctor.
I had.
Wasn't that him?
Oh, what? It's like,
I think it was him.
The phone's ringing. I know the name.
You're like a kid.
The phone's ringing. Yeah, the phone's ringing.
Let's make Noah happy. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, man.
Do you say men or man? Is it men or man?
Well, I should have said brothers.
Brothers.
That'll work too.
So you guys saw the Endgame. I mean, is that the very last one of the Avengers?
I believe so.
So, based on that, do you think that they could possibly create another one? Since that ended.
Well, they're trying, aren't they? I mean, they've been putting off this Captain America film for I don't know how long now. It's yet to have been released, and they keep wanting to, I don't know, make changes to it or something. Where the other guy, the guy that was playing another character, is taking over the Captain America mantle or whatever. So I hear or read things about they want to bring maybe Robert Downey Jr. back or something. I don't know. They're going to try to bring it back in some way, but I don't know if it'll be to where anybody wants to actually go see it.
So do you guys think it's unfair to have the Endgames end like that and then do another one after?
No, I think it's like actual comic books. No matter what major story ever came out, you knew somewhere along the line that 10 years at least later, they're going to have to revamp and bring it back again. I mean, it's The Death of Superman. Do you remember that back in the 90s when they did that in the comics?
Yeah.
Well, he's still around, right?
Yeah, that is ever so true.
So I think the movie's sort of the same thing. Sometimes they'll wait longer than sometimes. Here lately, they don't wait nearly as long as they used to, but they'll wait. Like when the Batman movie franchise was killed by George Clooney, or at least that's what he says. They waited a while, and then they brought it back with the Dark Knight and all that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Star Wars. Star Wars?
Star Wars?
Yeah.
That sounds like an appliance brand.
They're the Star Wars are just like drowning us, and Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, they're pretty much they pretty much dried that one up. I don't. I think they need to give that a rest.
Yes. But, you know, speaking of a new movie, I could picture it almost being a comedy to where somebody like, just say Spider-Man, was maybe 60 pounds overweight, and he's stuffed into that suit, and it's just kind of, you can just picture some comical things coming from that.
Well, they've done that in the comics, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, but it might have been like one of those what-if type stories or, you know, that type of thing. Like it was set in the future or something like that. Peter Parker's actually older, and he's probably got a receding hairline, and he's a little heavy set, and all that. And it's like passing the baton kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if you'll ever see that, but if they run out of, I think they have run out of ideas, but I guess maybe somewhere along the way they may do something like that.
Huh.
They can get Danny DeVito or somebody to play him or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh! So I have a question. Then I'm going to let you guys go.
Okay.
If you guys are, if you're born again, which birth date do you use for birthdays? When you shout them out to us.
Born again in the sense of like the religious sense.
Yeah. Because to some degree, that's I guess. Yeah.
I would probably go with their just regular birthday.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we should start doing that. Like people, like born again Christians, you know, if they wanted to.
Yeah, if they want to. I mean, that's up to them. I mean, I never really gave it that much thought, to be honest.
Physical birth, though. I mean, that's what birthdays are all about.
Yeah, if somebody asks me what my birthday is, I go.
Your mom will never deny you the actual birthday.
Go straight to the answer.
No, this is the day.
Saying ever since I was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
February 27th, 1976.
You sound like Cartman, John.
Cartman.
Oh my.
So how about you? When you're asked your birthday, do you give your actual birthday?
No, I just say none of your business.
Ah.
It's my day. It's my day. It's not yours.
Okay.
Don't buy me anything. Don't celebrate it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that, man.
There you go. All right.
Oh. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'm going to let somebody else call in.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your day.
All right, man. Goodbye.
Right. Take care. Bye. All right. Let's see who else we can knock out.
I don't know his name. I don't think I'll ever know his name.
Hugh Laurie?
The guy that calls in. Yeah.
Anyway, actor Peter
John.
Dinklage?
Oh, yeah. Peter Dinklage.
55
Lord
today.
of the Rings?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. But the fun fact here says he voiced Scourge in the film Transformers Rise of the Beasts. But wasn't he also in, what did you say?
I thought Lord of the Rings.
I was thinking the HBO show that everybody loved, Game of Thrones.
You're right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Which I didn't really. Did you watch that? I didn't watch that much.
Yeah. I was forced with, watching. My brother Daniel is a big fan, and I was going through like a lot of TV show binges at the time, and I was like, let me start with Game of Thrones. The problem with that show is every episode's a feature-length film. In there's like, I think it's like almost 20 episodes a season. So basically, I mean, you watch it, you start watching it for so long, John, that like your brain starts to just rots in the chair because you can't stop watching the show and you got to binge watch it. And so days will pass, months, even years, and you're still watching Game of Thrones. And then you're 27, you're still on your mother's couch, and you're like, what happened? I just finished Game of Thrones, and what happened, man? Like, I don't know. It's just like such a time. I wish it wasn't so long because like I want to enjoy other like shows and like movies, but like
then choose wisely. Actor Joshua Jackson turns 46. I only know him from Dawson's Creek. I know he's done other stuff.
I can't believe you watched this show, John.
I was much younger when that show came on.
True.
Much younger. All right, here's where I was going to ask you about this name. Actor Shia, is it LaBeouf or LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf.
I like LaBeouf. Turns 38.
Happy birthday, LaBeouf.
LaBeouf.
Yeah. You've ever seen that like that green screen footage that he shot, that it's like him giving encouragement, and he's like, just do it. Like it's like an old video on YouTube, but he's behind a green screen, and he's like, don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. Just do it. And he's just like, he's like trying to inspire you, John.
I just remember they tried to make us think that he was actually going to take over for Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull thing. And I was like, no. And of course it did not happen because he went on some crazy tangent or something, and that pretty much killed his career, I think. Actress Claire Holt turns 36. And now for some other names here. One of my favorite actresses is actress Adrienne Barbeau. Turns 79. Always had a thing for Adrienne Barbeau. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Frank Beard, the only guy without a beard in the band of ZZ Top, is 75 today. Also, singer Donnie Van Zandt of 38 Special and of Van Zandt is 72. And I think that will do it as far as other... Wait a minute. Then we got some other types here. Other popular or historical birthdays on this day, June 11th, would be... we heard Vince Lombardi mentioned earlier. Gene Wilder's birthday was today. I know he's no longer with us. Joe Montana. I know
Football
you know
guy.
the name.
Football guy.
Yeah. Played for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
NFL quarterback, 68 today.
I was actually more of a Steve Young guy. I don't get me wrong, Joe Montana is amazing, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to live, but as far as personality and just like a person who's dedicated to the sport, not the greatest, but who's just like got the passion, Steve Young all the way.
Joe Montana won 4 rings.
You know what Steve Young did, John?
Won 1.
Steve Young,
Won.
He almost ran. The way he ran with the ball, like there's that old footage of him like running from like halfway down the field, and he gets a touchdown. I think he's playing this
scrambler, but
he was a scrambler, but like he was like diving into the touchdown.
But what was funny was I remember watching footage of NFL. This would have been the NFL films, which I used to love because they actually would film the highlights in film movie footage, and then get this guy with a real great voice to narrate over it. And it was one of those films, and it would have been Young trying to break away, scramble, and he was getting killed by the Cowboys, I believe, and he loses the football. And sometimes what they would also do is have the narration of the sportscasters that were doing the radio broadcast and putting that over top of the film. And I could swear that I remember this for years because I used to watch this stuff all the time. This guy you would hear him go, Montana wouldn't be running in the first place. And I always thought, because they're showing this close-up of Young looking all like, oh, man. And all this, because he just lost the football. Montana wouldn't be running in the first. And I don't know, that always stuck in my brain.
That's funny.
Because you had that fan base.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was either Montana or whatever. But, yeah, Montana was...
He was a scrambler. He knew how to fight. He knew how to get out. But occasionally he would fall.
Well, yeah.
And he would drop the ball.
Oops. So, did you ever actually see the man play live? Young, I mean.
No.
I didn't think so.
No, I'm not that old, John.
I didn't think so. That's why I was even curious why you even knew of Young, much less liked him more or anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found out about him, started watching him, and I was like, wow, that guy can run. And also, we had like this game on the original Nintendo called Tecmo Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
And it was like the 92 football season or 93.
Yeah.
So that was like ancient, and like none of the players from that time were still like really playing much at all.
No.
But like these people were real to me, and like Steve Young would be always the quarterback for me, and I was like,
hence why I don't follow anymore. Those were the guys I grew up watching.
yeah.
So once those guys pretty much retired, I lost interest. But anyway, we are past our time, so you get to take over, I guess.
Oh boy! All right.
So Noah Massage. So stay tuned for that, and we'll talk at you tomorrow. Well, you will with Chris.
Yep.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.
WFLO.